Can someone please explain to me what is going on with the Miami Heat? Not only has this Miami Heat franchise failed in terms of the regular season and just showing Heat culture, I haven't seen Heat culture in a long time. Honestly, Heat culture is dead in my opinion, and we should really stop talking about it. The Miami Heat through 38 games the last 4 seasons. Look at it. The 25-26 season through the 2022 to 2023 season, we're all 20-18. That proves that we've been mid. I understand that we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I understand that we made it to the NBA Finals. But those are runs that cannot be duplicated every single year. At the end of the day, you need talent. And to be honest, what is Eric Spoelstra doing? You know, we praise him as this good coach and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a good coach. But he's not an offensive-minded coach by any means. Yeah, they went out and they got a guy that can teach them offense, but it's clearly not working anymore. Teams have figured us out in terms of the fast pace and the pace and space and everything like that. Like, I don't understand why this is so hard. Why is Khalil Ware not starting? You're telling me that Khalil Ware was ranked the 4th. He was ranked 4th in rebounding behind guys like the Joker, you know, behind guys like Rudy Gobert and Cat. Mind you, Khalil Ware's getting mixed up minutes, inconsistent minutes. 1 minute he plays 8 minutes, 1 minute he plays 30 minutes, 1 minute he's coming off the bench, 1 minute he's starting. What is Eric Spoelstra doing with this team? What is this Miami Heat brass? What is this Miami Heat franchise doing with this roster? Last night we lose to OKC 124-112. Coach Spo says that they need to be tougher. We just have to be tougher with everything, not just physical. We brought a physical toughness, but the mental toughness when the game/momentum starts to swing the other way. So what happened to Heat culture? What happened to standing on y'all nuts? And to be honest with you, something needs to change. This team needs to be blown up. Our captain, if Bam Adebayo was banged up, he needs to sit out. Because him giving us 6 and 12 points is not going to get it done. I told you guys the other day, Bam is our captain and our leader. And if our captain and leader is not leading and being a captain and being dominant, I'm not saying 30 and 20. I'm not saying he had to put up 40 rebounds and all this craziness. But if he's not even giving us his average of 20 and 10, this team is cooked. There's no way that Bam Adebayo is going to be on a max starting next year, and he can barely give you 6 points, 12 points. And once again, if Bam Adebayo was hurt, they need to sit him. Because I've never seen... Now, don't get me wrong. He's had some bad seasons or some bad games. Or usually he does this even before the All-Star break or after the All-Star break, where he kind of just completely dips off. But this bad to where he's giving you 6 points, if he's really that banged up with the toe and the lower back, can we just sit him? And like I said, what is Spo's deal with Khalil Ware? I understand that he's not always going to have the motor, but for the most part, he's been fine. Ever since November, he's fallen off because he's getting inconsistent minutes. He's playing 8 minutes. He's starting. He's coming off the bench. It is a non-negotiable when your captain and when your leader comes out and says that he wants Khalil Ware to start. He doesn't want to play the 5. He's thankful for Khalil Ware. What is Eric Spoelstra doing with these rotations? I like Drew Smith. I can't even say anything bad about Drew Smith. But this Miami Heat team is not playing like they want to win a championship. And this is why I really get pissed off with the Miami Heat. Because we do all these things where we win just enough games to not be in the lottery, and then we win just enough games to barely make the play-in. Once again, us doing that does nothing. Because then you're going to continue to pick at 15 and 18 and 20. What does that do for us? We're not winning a championship anyways. And I'm not saying that you have to completely throw the season away. But why aren't you allowing the young guys to play? I don't understand. Like, nothing about what... These guys aren't acting like they want to win a championship. These guys aren't playing to the potential that they can. Wiggins has been inconsistent because he's at the 4. Tyler Hero, he's always hurt. And even when he's out there, even if he drops 20, what does that really do for us? Bam Adebayo, he forgot how to play basketball. The rotations stink. Jovic, he's up and down. Jaime, yeah, he's been okay, but he's also battling injuries. Norman Powell, he's battling injuries. This Miami Heat team does not look like they want to win a championship. And all I'm saying is, fine, you don't want to completely tank every season. No one's saying that. But, when are we going to be in the lottery? Us being mid does nothing for this team. All it does is keep us stagnant.
Overall tougher, with everything. And it's not just physical toughness. I felt like we brought a physical toughness, but, the mental toughness when the game starts to go or the momentum starts to swing, the other way. It doesn't have to be a 12 to 14 to 2 run. That could be half that. You hold the fort. You don't fuel it, with turnovers or poor defensive possessions. And, we had some tough turnovers, as they started making a run, and that just absolutely fueled their energy, fueled the crowd. And we didn't respond well to that, which we will get better. We will get better at that. Hopefully we'll be in a lot more of these kind of, close games where we can feel that emotion collectively and respond in a better way.
Norman Powell has definitely been playing like an all-star. So per Sam Quinn, what does Norman Powell have to do for a team to believe in him as a long-term piece? He's having an all-star season. Why are you taking the ball out of Norman Powell's hands? Which I agree. That's why I said before, this whole 3-guard lineup with Davion, Tyler, and Powell, even though it's a small sample size, I just don't like it. That is why, like I said, Davion's been good, but the offense that he's just been struggling. He's not playing as good as he was earlier in the season. And once again, we need to change things up. It should be non-negotiable Khalil where it needs to start. And the starting lineup should be Tyler, Powell, Wiggins, Bam, Ware. Now, if it was really up to me, I would really either do Davion, Tyler, Wiggins, Bam, Ware, or Davion, Powell, Wiggins, Bam, Ware, if the whole thing with Powell and Tyler Hero doesn't work. But obviously, because we can't stay healthy, Bam's playing bad, Tyler Hero's always hurt, Norman Powell's banged up, we can really never see a consistent starting lineup. And what Norman Powell also has to realize, yeah, he's playing like an all-star, and I really do think he deserves it. He's deserved it since last season. But when you're at the bottom of the East, or when you're in the play-in, it's hard for these guys to vote for you when they could just give, other teams that are 1 through 3 or 1 through 5, bro, they could just give 1 to 2 players from every team up there and just forget about you because you're at the bottom of the East. Winning solves everything, and when you're not winning, people forget about you.
Norman Powell have to do for a team to believe in him as like a longer term piece? Like, he's having an all-star season. Like, why are you taking the ball out of Norman Powell's hands?
And nobody's really taking the ball out of his hands. It's the inconsistency. 1 minute you're playing double big, 1 minute Tyler Hero is back, 1 minute Pelle Larsson starting. So that is why it's so important to have a healthy team. Because if you don't have a healthy team, you have an up and down roster throughout the whole regular season. You really can't build chemistry. You don't know who to trade. You have Eric Spoelstra that 1 minute he wants to play Jovic, 1 minute he doesn't, 1 minute he wants to play Khalil Ware, 1 minute he doesn't. And if you're going to say that these guys are untouchable, how are you not playing them? The team is not acting or playing like they want to win a championship or have any type of consistency. Gilbert Arenas low-key exposes Heat culture. And I honestly think that he makes a good point. So I'm not going to read all of this, but he's pretty much saying that the Miami Heat could benefit from Ja, and Ja could benefit from the Miami Heat when it comes to structure, discipline, and star power and everything like that, and how Ja could pretty much rebrand his name and continue to get better as a basketball player. But Arenas is definitely right when it comes to Heat culture, because he'll say it. Whenever the Miami Heat have a big star, LeBron James, D. Wade, Shaq, Chris Bosh, and they're winning championships, there really is no Heat culture. There's really only Heat culture when the star goes. Now, I will say this. The Miami Heat have changed. Ask Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was only crying because he didn't get the contract extension. Other than that, Jimmy Butler never complained about Heat culture. Yes, we heard about the cookies off the plane and, how they have private investigators following players on the team. All that stuff is done away with. And I'm sure it's done to a lot of a lower level. Pat Riley even said that they had to change. Obviously, stars have changed, brand deals, the image, the money. So they're not the Miami Heat of old. And like I said, Jimmy Butler never complained until his last season. He was riding around in private jets. He was in Airbnbs on the road, and we never even knew at the time. So this is what I mean by, I understand what people say about the Miami Heat, but they have changed ever since they really were around Jimmy Butler's time period. Everything else was obviously extra, but as you can see, it led to winning. The biggest thing, though, he said to me was, Heat culture only exists when the Miami Heat don't have a number one option, when the Miami Heat don't have superstar talent. And to be honest with you, I think it's right. And even right now, when they don't have a number one option, when they don't have superstar talent, I don't see any type of Heat culture in them. They're lazy. They don't want to go out there and work hard every day. We used to win games off of effort. We used to win games off of blood, sweat, and tears. And all I'm seeing out there is atrocious basketball, atrocious lineups from Eric Spoelstra.
Miami is probably when it comes to his brand, is the only place that makes sense. But I don't think him and the Pat Riley mindset can coexist right now, right? You ran off Jimmy Butler. You ran off Dwayne Wade. You ran off LeBron James, right? You have a system there. That system works. It's a disguise system, but it works. The system is, I get arguably one of the top 5 players in history. They help me win a championship. When they leave, heat culture. That means I get to whip them boys and use the ring that I let the superstar get doing it his way. And then I get to beat everybody else into this Miami Heat culture system, right? When Shaq got there was no Heat culture. It was Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, Antoine Walker, Jane Posey, Dwayne Wade, doing whatever they wanted to do. They was running amok in Miami. Strip club, but the boys was, listen, I don't know what Heat culture is, but if Heat culture is building a strip club, a barbershop inside the strip club, because that's how long they was in it, that they wanted to get haircuts and a basketball court. Like, instead of going to the gym, we just go shoot jumpers in the strip club. If that is Heat culture, God damn it, sign us up. Right? They won a championship. When they left, Heat culture, didn't win nothing.
When it comes to Giannis, you guys can continue to sing his praises, but I am not going to sit here and wait for a guy that keeps double talking. So per Sam Quinns, I know Giannis said I'll never ask to be traded, which was a lie. That's semantics. Until he signs a contract extension, I'm just going to say it. I don't believe him. If you read the interview and not just aggregation, there's all sorts of qualifying going on in the interview, and he's right. I've never met a man that says I don't want to be traded, but you never know. Tomorrow could be something else. Like, what does that even mean? He's constantly double talking, and he's already asked for a trade during the offseason. It just didn't go through. And that's one of the biggest things that people don't realize. He's come out and say where he wants to be in a big market. You know, he wants to be in the sun. He's been saying a lot of different things, and you're telling me he's going to stay in Milwaukee and they're at the bottom of the East with Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma and no first-round picks? Good luck. They could try to get Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and all these other guys on high contracts, but what does that really do for Giannis? Does it really put him over the top? And I just think he doesn't want to be labeled as the bad guy.
Came out with a quote and said, like, oh, I will never ask to be traded. That is semantics. He did not say he was signing a contract extension. Until he signs a contract extension, I'm just going to say it, I don't believe him. If you read the actual interview and not just the social media aggregation, there is all sorts of qualifying going on in that interview where he's saying, today I'm happy with the Bucks. Today I love my wife. Tomorrow my wife might not love me and I might not be happy with the Bucks or whatever. Like, he said that several times. He's been playing these semantic games all season where he's like, I can't be held responsible for the conversations my agent is having. The Knicks had trade conversations with the Bucks. Those really happened at the direction of Giannis's camp. Like,
there's a lot going on right now with the Miami Heat. Like I said before, Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat, they deserve to be cooked. Yes, they're very stubborn in their ways. I just don't understand how you have a team full of young guys that you guys say that are untouchable. You guys say you don't want to trade them, but you don't want to play them. You can't have it both ways. You have Bam Adebayo, who, if he's hurt, sit him. If he's going to go out there and go play and compete, he has to stand on his nuts as a captain. He has to stand on his nuts as a leader and help lead this Miami Heat team. We go as far as our captain goes. If our captain is giving us 6 points, it's not going to get it done.